What's up guys, your Doomsday here. Today we're back again, and in this video we're going to be playing some Rengar in the jungle. So we just had the new season reset hit, and I thought what better way to start off the new season than to play some Rengar for y'all. And somebody had commented on one of my last videos, no more Rengar question mark, and I was like, you know, gotta get in some Rengar. It has been a minute since my last Rengar video, but he still is a very strong choice and a very fun choice to play too. And Rengar is, in my opinion, one of the hardest champs to fully master. I think to completely master Rengar, he's actually one of the more mechanically harder champs to play in the jungle, just because the skill ceiling you can have on Rengar is so high. If you time your abilities right, your combos right, use the right bushes, get the right engages on, it is a very difficult champion to master. But even if you don't have Rengar completely mastered, he's still a very strong champion. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is just because he's one of those champions where once you get going with Rengar, it's so hard to stop him. Going up against a fed Rengar is one of the most obnoxious things that you're gonna have to do, just because he's just so hard to track down with his second ability, the cleanse from it, plus all the burst damage he has and invis too. It can for sure be a struggle. But one of the weaknesses that I will say for Rengar that I will point out is his early game can be a bit rough, or not his early game necessarily, but his early game ganking is very rough, just because you don't really have a dash or mobility in your kit, and if you can't really utilize the bushes right, it is very hard to actually get anything done with Rengar. So that's kind of why in this game I kind of just go for the full jungle clear to get level 5, so then I can go and have my ultimate and actually get a good gank in. You can just do one side clear, just clear some camps and then look for ganks. And the reason why I didn't do that in this match is just because looking at the enemy champs like Ahri, Akali, and a Thresh and Samira, those aren't necessarily the easiest champs to gank. They have pretty decent mobility. They can escape ganks pretty easily. Akali has smoke and their little flip thing backwards. And then Ahri is Ahri, always kind of slippery one to gank. So really getting an early game gank in with Rengar, already not having good ganks and having to gank these high mobility champions that are just naturally hard to gank, pretty unlikely. So instead I kind of just choose to power farm to get level 5 and then kind of look for any opportunity. So I go ahead and take this, and seeing that the enemy, they're actually running a Kai'Sa in the jungle, a bit off meta, but I have seen some people do it. I see Kai'Sa isn't here. Kai'Sa's actually on the bot side, so I think I go ahead and recall here just because there's no good gank angle. And I look on the bot side and look at the Kai'Sa. Look at what buff the Kai'Sa has. The Kai'Sa has only the blue buff on him. So that tells me, look at me. I have both the blue buff and the red buff on me. You can see right underneath my character. My red buff just ran out. But I see that Kai'Sa had just cleared their blue side jungle. So I kind of know their jungle rotation. But I'm looking for a good gank here. I got a shop in, so I do have a shop advantage. And I had the Twisted Fate ultimate on my side. So able to get in a decent gank, pick up one kill, and thankfully Twisted Fate's able to pick up the second one. So now kind of gonna go back to farming up my red side jungle, and now I kind of have Kai'Sa's rotation in my head now. I know what their rotation was. They started red buff. I think the reason why they didn't have red buff on him was because they actually took their red buff first, whereas I started with these Krugs over here, and then I went to my red buff, so mine ended a little bit after Kai'Sa's, but Kai'Sa's had already ran out. But I think Kai'Sa started with red buff and then worked over to blue side jungle. So I'm pretty sure that Kai'Sa's red buff should be respawning about now, and Kai'Sa's probably going to be on that top side of the map. So in this case, I should know Kai'Sa's around the red buff area, and the two lanes that they can look to gank is either the top lane or the mid lane. But mid lane doesn't really look very gankable. Maybe top lane's a little bit gankable. They're a bit overextended, but yep, I tried to ping out the Ahri rotate on the map a second ago, but my team unfortunately did not pay attention to that. So I'm just gonna keep on farming up. I can't really do anything over there until I get my ultimate back up. I see Twisted Fates here, so I kind of wait till Twisted Fate can catch up. And now I kind of ult here, but notice something that I'd be very cautious of. You have to be really cautious of Ahri Charm. So I try my best to just try and dodge everything I can. Able to pick up a kill or two, and able to get them both, and looks like Twisted Fate's actually gonna be able to get all 3 kills. Unfortunately, I got none of those kills. A little bit sad, but that's overall still a good engage. We somehow lost first turret already, 4 minutes into the game. That's a little sad, but oh well, it happens, I guess. You know, sometimes you get those duo laners. You know, it seems to be a common theme among people. But now, finish off with the scuttle over here. Now I can reset and finally get my first item. And something that I want to mention in this match is looking at the enemy team comp, two of the biggest champs I have to be super cautious of is the Ahri and the Thresh. And the reason for that is because they have really, really high crowd control abilities. Ahri Charm plus like Thresh, Hook, and like Knock and stuff. If you make an engage with Rengar and you don't use your abilities right and you get crowd controlled up by those abilities, you're just going to get completely bursted down and your engage is going to get completely screwed over. So now I'm pinging like, I don't have my ultimate. I can't really get a good engage. That's kind of why I'm pinging like retreat. We don't have good warding really. So I kind of just go for this Herald instead. The reason why I don't look for Dragon is because one, our dual lane's getting completely demolished and fighting on that side of the map would be pretty bad. What is this dude saying in chat? I don't know. That's okay. You know, sometimes you just gotta ignore the little ADC players out there. You know, sometimes they're a little bit in on their heads. But I go ahead and drop Herald here. The reason why I just drop it is because first tower is already gone. So like, I'm not gonna get first tower. So I might as well just use Herald to get some plates. But now I'm gonna look for a bit of poking. I don't go in too deep because again, I don't want to get charmed. I don't want to get hooked by Thresh. So I just get a decent amount of burst off. And now I see Kai'Sa's alone on the right side over there. So kind of make a wraparound to Kai'Sa. Gonna try and see if I can burst this Kai'Sa down and able to get a good root and pick up that kill over there. And really, with the build that I'm going on Rengar, this is a 100% crit build, essentially. Oh, with this Thresh walking up on me over here. Yeah, you see, I'm trying my best. I'm trying not to get charmed or hooked or anything, so I'm just gonna keep on running back. I know they're all still back there, so yeah, I'm not about to jump back in over there. I'm waiting till if I see an opportunity. I see kind of the Thresh walk up by themselves, and I realize, you know, I can get this fast enough, pick up that kill, and avoid any crowd control or anything. I kind of want this camp. Maybe that was a little bit of a greedy, but Ahri had already used up Charm, so I didn't have to be worried about that. So now, looking pretty good. But now I can pick up my Solari Charge Blade and can keep on farming up. Yep, I'm just going to clear my red side and then get that shop in. And then after this, I'm going to go Bloodthirster and IE, and that's essentially the 100% crit Rengar build. It has its pros and cons to it, I will say. There's two Rengar builds I like. One, the build that I'm going right now. This is an old build that I used like 2 years ago. I don't really know if it's still used that often. I know a lot of the items are still commonly used, but this is personally the build I like. And then the other build I'd like to go is just Cleaver and Sunder, and that's kind of more of a tankier Rengar build. Like, you frontline a lot more. You're super unkillable just because you have tank from those items. You provide decent damage still because Rengar has pretty high base damage. And also, with your second ability, you just regen so much of your health. But now I kind of see another engage over here. I don't waste my combo on Thresh because that's kind of wasted. I look to go into their backline instead. So able to get in a bunch of damage, but I kind of have to back off. It's very hard to chase that because, again, look at that Ahri Charm over there. So I really just can't get charmed up or else I'm pretty much dead meat. So clearing out these wards over here. I know they're pretty low. I was able to burst almost all of them down to like 1 HP. Not 1 HP, but they're all pretty low over here. And now I'm trying to see if I can get a sneaky little engage in, but unfortunately this bush is just out of range and this is a little bit tilting me because they're all so low. So eventually I just run out here, and again, I'm being cautious to Ahri. I don't want to get charmed because I'm like, if I get charmed, I'm dead here. So you can kind of see I let the set get charmed instead. They could survive that at least. But yeah, now I kind of dip out. Yeah, that set kind of overextended a bit over here now, and this Thresh is kind of fast. I try and smite to get away from him, but he wants to keep on chasing me. I get my abilities back off cooldown, so get my burst off, get out of there before the charm comes in, and then able to pick that up, and now just going to keep on kiting back. I see the Samira over here. Kind of just kite back to the bush, and able to burst down the Samira over here. And you can see my damage is finally starting to ramp up, and that's the thing with this build, is this build actually is not the strongest in the early game. You do have to get like 2 to 3 items before your damage starts to become like really, really absurd. But as I was talking about the 2 different builds, this build it does make you a little squishy because you aren't building tank items, of course. But your single target burst damage is absolutely insane. And we're going to see that as this match goes on. If you could just slowly pick off kills like one by one, like you can see I haven't even gotten most of the kills here. Like most of the kills like actually went to my teammates, and I got mostly assists. But you can still see my damage is slowly starting to get up there. And yep, I'm just going to keep on farming up. But you want to be looking for isolated targets with this build, essentially. And we're going to see that, like, as this match goes on, that I'm going to be looking to, like, focus down one target and to just burst them down as quickly as I can. If anybody's out of position one bit, you could just ultimate and then just delete him one burst right away. And there's no escaping from this build. Like, if you get caught out as an ADC against this build, there's nothing you can do. And we can see over here now, I'm looking for an engage over here. I think I go ahead and ult in. Seeing if I can get onto their backline over here. Try and get onto the Ahri. They still had an ult charge left, unfortunately, but This Thresh is a little bit out of position, so able to pick him up, and now this Akali, able to get the root and the flash on to kill him. That Pike ult, maybe a little bit late, but that's okay. And now I'm kind of just using these bushes over here and kind of cleaning this up. And you can see, like, look at my health. My health is literally going up. I am getting health from, like, my Bloodthirster. Or I don't even have Bloodthirster fully built yet, but, like, look at this. I'm still full health by the end of this. Like, the health regen is absolutely crazy with this build, and it's so satisfying, because even if you're low health, if you're able to just find an ADC and just burst him down, it's going to take you back to, like, half to full health. It's so satisfying, but I'm not able to take down the turret. Gonna go ahead and back off here. I have a bunch of gold I need to spend, so gonna go back and shop. But with the other build that I was talking about with the Divine Sunder and Black Cleaver build, you are a bit more tanky and you're a bit more teamfight oriented with that build. That's the thing I'll say about this one is very hard to play in teamfights. And the reason for that is if you get hit by one crowd control ability, just because you're squishy, you're gonna get bursted down. Whereas with Sunder and Black Cleaver, you're more tanky, you can tank more, so getting hit by a big crowd control ability in teamfights, you can provide more frontline. You won't completely just get deleted right away. But now, I'm just trying to take this dragon over here. I don't want to turn on this over here. I'm like, we already have the dragon mostly down, so I go ahead and take this over here. And now I kind of look for an opportunity. I go ahead and ult, seeing if I can catch anybody out of spot at all, because I know I could just one burst him. Again, I'm being cautious with Thresh. I see Kai'Sa alone again on this right side over here, and just look at that damage. That just gets absolutely deleted. There is no running away from that. That is the nice thing about Rengar over here. So now, going to be pushing down this mid turret. I'm looking to get a root on with my empowered third ability. If I can get a root, maybe we can capitalize on that, but they're still all around. We all kind of decide to back off, so going to go ahead and farm up. And look over here. My auto attacks are literally smites. My auto attacks are doing more damage than one smite will do. That is absolutely crazy. That is what I love about this build. Like, it's so much fun to play. It's not always the best build. Again, I will say, if your team needs frontline, if you need tankiness, other build is better, but this build is more fun. Not gonna lie, 100% crit. Who can say no to that? Like, I can't even figure out when to use my smite in here, because I'm like, I might as well just auto it at this point. Like, my autos are doing enough to this. That's even, like, look at my empowered autos when I use my first ability. It is absolutely absurd. But now, yeah, just going to farm this up. Go ahead and reset. Get a shop in. And yeah, I keep on accidentally resetting. I'm keeping an eye on my teammates. I don't want them to keep on chasing. I keep on canceling my backport looking at the map. But I don't want them to keep on chasing over here. I want to reset, get a shop in. And they're kind of dipping in a little bit too far. I was kind of keeping an eye on that. Like, yeah, maybe that's a bit of an overstep. You don't really want to be... This is a team comp that you don't really want to be playing, like, around their turrets, just because a champ like Ahri, like Thresh, they can just kite back to their turret and then hook you or charm you underneath the turret, and that's such a bad spot to get charmed near, or to get hooked underneath. Because, like, for instance, and I realize, like, it's just helpless going over there. Like, I can't 1v5 that, but yeah, just yet. Soon, maybe we can, but... Now, I see they're pushing mid lane, and look at that. One auto does 1,000 damage. Now, I see the Samira by themselves in the mid lane over here, so I'm like, I can catch out the Samira over here. I'm able to pick them up over here. I know they're going towards Baron, so going to start heading that way and trying to get good warding in these bushes, making sure they aren't around in there. And now, unfortunately wasn't able to reach him from the bush, but thankfully Set is providing really good crowd control for me and being a pretty good front line, so still able to chase that down over here. And now my teammates are slowly starting to respawn. I see this Kai'Sa resetting over here, and I realize I can get a cheeky little kill over there. Go ahead and just get a quick little delete. And now we're starting to head towards the Baron. We should be able to take that, and I know I'm going to melt this just because look at how much damage my autos are doing in this case. Like, it is kind of insane. So now we're taking down this Baron over here. We should be able to get that, but if y'all want to see more Rengar gameplay, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below whatever champs y'all want to see, and I usually do take like comments into consideration when debating what champs to play, because of course I want to play what y'all want to see, and again, Rengar is a fun champ to play, so like I'll play as much Rengar as y'all want. Y'all want to see more Rengar? I will give y'all more Rengar, but now I got GA up, and now it's gonna be so hard to kill me. And I just get Proto Belt just for mobility in this game, just because I know I could delete him. I just have to be able to stay on top of him. But notice something super key here. I have not gotten charmed a single time during this entire match. And I haven't gotten hooked yet. I think I get hooked like once later on. But I hadn't gotten hooked a single time this entire game, and I hadn't gotten charmed yet. And that's just so key. Like, if you time your engages right, and I know I'm using my empowered second ability a lot, And that's just to dodge these charms, and that's the one time I get hooked this game. But I'm just making sure I don't get crowd controlled in a bad spot. And using that empowered second ability, a lot of people really underestimate. Like, it does good damage, it regens you, it's very, very underrated. Like, you can abuse that ability so hard. And I highly recommend doing that if you are a dirty Rengar player like me, because it is very, very toxic to go against. But now, able to pick up the Kali over there, and kind of see if we can get this Kaisa, I guess. And yeah, I'd kind of just delete him, but able to finish off the Nexus here. But I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below. And that's going to be about it for this video. My next video will be an Olaf gameplay. I do already have that one recorded, but I hope you all enjoyed this one. We could take a look at the little stats. Going to start to rank back up the season, get back to Grandmaster is the goal. But we'll have a fun little journey around the way. Maybe some 20 kill games. Some nice entertainment for y'all, but that's going to be it. I'll see y'all in the next one.